To the cloud. All right, recording. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the Monday night call. Thanks for jumping on. Good to see all your smiling faces. Tonight we're really lucky. We've got Alan Hilzinger jumping on. So I was over at the Real and Raw event. The lovies. Thanks, Al. The Real and Raw event that Alan had played a big part in organising as well. So really selfless leader. I'll let him share a little bit about his story in a second, but just great guy. And when I look around Isogenics at the moment and the leaders that are in the trenches doing doing it well, he's definitely up there with the people that I would be following. I always try to take stock of who would I be enrolled by right now if I could be enrolled by anybody, and this would be one of the guys that I'd go and tap on the shoulder. So thanks for taking the time tonight, Alan. I know you're super busy. Really appreciate your time.
You are more than welcome, mate. I'd have you in our team in a heartbeat.
Cool. All right. Well, let's get into it. So a lot of the guys know your story, but maybe just in a sort of little 5-minute brief, just share your story sort of with Isogenics, how you got involved and up to now.
For sure. Snapshot. Yeah, no problem at all. Just curious, who on this call actually hasn't seen me speak or doesn't know anything about my story?
There's a few.
There's a couple there. I think most people probably have. Cool. So just a real quick summary. Sorry that I'm in the dark too at the moment as well. While we're in the car, I'll emerge into the light soon. That's a little bit better. Real quick summary was Jackson Parr approached me back in, I think the first time he approached me was around October 2013. And at that time, he approached me from a point of view, just have a look at the business, give him some advice. He talked about, and I suppose it's a great lesson as well, is that he approached me in a way that he looked at me as, a business person working at CEO of Gold Coast Basketball. How do I communicate with this guy who I know through basketball? I'd coached him once in an international tournament. We never really, it wasn't like we spoke on a regular basis or anything. So he really used the words of affirmation, I suppose, was the best way. I really respect him as a business person. Probably didn't even know a thing about what I did, but it was kind of irrelevant, the wording and the way he approached it. To me, I looked at it and I was like, you know what? Great young guy. Felt my ego was fed naturally in some of the things that he said. So I was like, you know what? I'll catch up with him. I'll give him some advice on his business, whatever it is. At that point, I didn't really know. And I was living a busy life. So I just kept flopping him off, but not in a bad way, more in a way of I just didn't have the time, which is a great lesson. Like, as I share this story with a couple of lessons, it's a great lesson, especially if you're prospecting people that are living busy lives or you don't know what kind of life they're living, is that don't stop following them up just because they don't respond to you or you think that they're trying to divert you, because it just may be that they're living a busy life. And you know what, if it takes Jackson, it took 18 times for him to, I'm talking 18 initiating new conversations. I'm not talking 18, I'm talking 18 initiations of conversation before I finally actually met up with him. So that was the first point, was really that he did it in such a positive way and made me and fed my ego that I was always going to at least catch up with him. And then he continued to follow me up. Ultimately, I met up with him. It was probably good timing, but also I'd seen a few people in our community, in our basketball community, starting to have some great health results. And Larry, my wife, had actually saw on my Facebook a few of them as well. And she's like, oh, some of these people are like people that we know. What's going on? What are they doing? And I'm like, oh, that's Jackson Parr's thing that he's doing. He's helping some people losing weight and all the rest of it. And she's like, you need to go and meet with him. Oh, actually, I had explained the story as well, obviously. Because I want that. And so I went and met with him, I talked to him about his business, I walked away, signed up with 2 president's packs, and had no interest in the business at that time at all. I told him at that point, he still drew out the comp plans, or at least they share, especially he utilised the fact that I was enrolling Larry to be able to actually say, hey, look, you're going to get $80 back no matter what. And he drew it out in that way of being able to say, you're going to get the $80 back. If you've got somebody else that wants to get started, this is where it's going to evolve to. I did it. at that point, I didn't actually help anyone get started.
You're just breaking up a little bit there, Al. Is your headphone jack come out or something? Because we've got visuals okay, but no sound. Just give you a second to get sorted. Has anybody else Oh, there we go.
Sorry? Oh, sorry. It was confusing me between. Sorry, it tried to get me onto the car speaker. Sorry.
We got you back. That's all right. We lost you at. He was utilizing the fact that you were signing up with Larry, so he was like, "Let's get you one more."
Oh, okay, awesome. So basically, what happened was he utilized that. I didn't bite. I was just happy using the products. So I did see it, and I was like, "Yeah, that's good, but not for me. I'm not interested." Had a bit of a stigma in network marketing because I was approached 3 or 4 times a week by network marketing companies, even though I never stopped to actually have a good look at them. It was just that the way they approached me was just annoying to me. It was like they'd walk into the office or they would just walk in with this business opportunity pitch, and I was like, go away sort of thing. Whereas Jackson, and some of these people I knew way better than Jackson, but the fact that he actually played to my ego, he played to advice and talked about it really, really well, and then he worked towards building the relationship in the 18 follow-ups. At the same time, he was commenting on my posts. He was doing this kind of stuff, so his name was continually popping into my mind. I would see him at basketball, and all of a sudden he was saying hello to me, things like that. Hey, we've got to catch up, that kind of stuff. So it was pretty. I don't even know whether he realized at the time he was only a few months in, but it was pretty much textbook. I'm just presuming. He always says, I listen to GoPro, and he was studying so hard and building his skills that no doubt he was just implementing what he was learning. Like when you look back on it, he was probably just learning stuff and implementing it. Fell in love with the products. 30 days later, no sharing. Jackson, and the kicker for me really was when Jackson turned around and said, look, Al, I get it. If you don't want to share, then that's totally, totally okay. So again, he was just giving me an out. However, I just want to ask you one question. If I'd never approached you and shared Isogenics with you, how would you feel right now? And it was like a light bulb kicked off, and I was like, he's got me. So I shared with a few family and friends that I cared about, told them about the products. They got started. And then I just turned up the celebration because I was curious. Jacko's like, oh, look, I'm making this amount of money. And I'm like, man, like here I am working 60, 70 hours as a CEO, and this guy is already making this amount of money. Like, seriously, what's going on here? So I turned up to celebration, and that was it. Left celebration, and the rest is history.
Yeah, amazing. And I think because you shared that story and even sort of screenshots of the messages at the Real and Raw event, and it was just the consistency of the follow-up, and literally Jackson would send, there'd be 4 unanswered messages. Alan wouldn't even respond. It would be seen. Jackson would send it again. Let's get that coffee, or hey, how you going? And it would be, and I don't know how many times I know I've stopped after 2 unanswered messages. So it's that consistency. But the other thing that the part of the story that I love is that while he was consistently doing that, he was consistently showing up on social media.
Yeah.
And so it was actually like Larry seeing something on social media that prompted the go and see him now. And I think like having both of those consistent actions, not just one or the other, I think is where the magic was for you. And I think it is a lot often.
And 100% is. It's like, just quick on that too there, Tully, is that like it comes across like I don't know if any of you guys have seen me present on it, but I did a couple of presentations over in Brisbane where I talk about, I really consider like an action triangle when you're doing things to build this business as far as action goes. And I'm not talking about growing yourself and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about the actual income producing actions. Is that, to me, I look at it as a really balanced triangle. And one point of the triangle is connecting and talking, that you are actually leading, like you're in control of it. Another point of the triangle is branding, which is you just being consistent to make sure that people continually know what you're doing, how you're doing it, who you are, your own brand. And then the third one is getting people to events. And to me, like Jacko absolutely nailed that with us. And if he hadn't, I would dare say that yes, of course, we've taken control of it ourselves and we've gone out and grown and shared and all the rest of it. But if he hadn't done all 3 of those points, connected with us, branded himself, and then did whatever he could to get both Larry and I to celebration, there's no way that we'd be sitting here financially free in the point that we are right now. So it's kind of like, I look at that and go, it's our responsibility. Like so many of us go, and I know I do as well. And when I really, really look at it and I'm like, oh, people aren't building, or they're not sharing, or they're not this, or they're not that. And then I look at it and I go, if we really want to be honest with ourselves and take responsibility for it, I'll guarantee that it also comes back, as much as they're not doing it, that either we're not continuing to connect and build a relationship with them, or we're not continuing to brand and show them what's possible and how to do it, or we're not actually working with them to get them to events and find a reason and a why and paint the picture and the vision of why they're getting to events. And yes, I get it. Some people are just never going to do it, but there's still key elements that we can control to help people see this vision and grow and become leaders in this company.
Yeah. And taking responsibility for those 5 and 10%ers, like you say, it's people are usually going to be one way or the other. But like you say, you might have fallen into the box of somebody who never shared.
I would dare say, if Jackson had not done one of those 3 things, we were out. Like we would not be sitting here right now. And of course, for Jackson, same scenario. Of course, whatever we've generated, the BV that we generate for Jackson, same scenario. He misses it. Of course, he'd still be amazingly successful, but we miss it as well. It's like, it's crazy. It's crazy to think.
Yeah. Yeah. And you guys have rank advanced fairly recently in the last couple of months, haven't you?
Yeah. A couple of months ago, we hit 8-star, which is pretty cool. We had a nice little blitz that week and had a few rank advancement. Catch went 5-star. We went 8-star. We had a couple others doing some well. That was cool.
Incredible. And that's what a segue, because I'd love to talk about Blitz Weeks.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about Blitz Weeks because we've got we're coming up to spring, and as you're well aware, that's go time for Isogenics. So we're planning to do a Blitz Week in August to kick off a spring cleanse beginning of September. So I would just love to hear from you how you guys, because I saw that the catch rank match that weekend and you guys did as well.
Yeah, for sure.
How you guys went about setting that up and executing it?
Definitely can. So a couple of things, and it depends. It can vary based on where you guys are at with your team. Generally, what we had done in the past, and I know what majority of teams do, and you may be able to answer this for me as well, Tully, is that when it comes to a Blitz Week, the Blitz Week is all around enrolling and rank advancing, right? Mm-hmm. So we wanted to, when we look at that and we go, you know what, that's awesome, because yes, that's going to be probably a significant part of the Blitz. Mm-hmm. However, what the one missing in the Blitz is product users. So people are often looking and going, how do we engage the product users? So we came up, Catch, myself, Larry, and Nicole Robertson. We actually, just the 4 of us, have a regular once a week catch up, brainstorming, things we can do. And somehow it evolved around all of our blitzes. We need to start engaging the 85% that are just product users. So what we actually did on this particular Blitz week was we, and this was massive, obviously, but we put up a trip to Las Vegas for a product user. So one product user was going to win a trip to Las Vegas, and then we had a whole bunch of like US product and stuff that they weren't used to getting. So it was like, one, we covered the big ticket items. So people are like, oh my God, I've got an opportunity to win this trip to Vegas. No, there's no attachment around it. It's like you win the trip to Vegas when it's on Celebration. Even for all of us leaders, it was like, if they don't end up attending Celebration because they don't want it, whatever, like we don't want to have an attachment to it. This is about the Blitz, getting somebody that's a product user to Las Vegas. So we had all of our leaders kicked in a little bit of money towards that. And we tiered it based on, if you had a large team, they kicked in a little bit. If you had a large team, they kicked in a little bit more. We just sort of did 3 tiers, and they kicked in money towards that. So we all had that contribution. So everyone, and I'm talking in our team, every single director and above kicked in. So it was like a 100% buy-in, which was obviously massive as well, having that. Second part was that if they didn't kick in money, they could kick in prizes, which was the equivalent of that. So, seasonal shakes that weren't available, American product, stuff that was going to attract people, because what we wanted to cover was the big ticket item. But then the people that go, I never win anything, I'm not going to win the trip to Vegas. They then go, oh, well, actually there's 20 prizes. So, you never know, I might win one of the 20. So it's kind of covering both mentalities. Then what we focused in on was at that point, ISO Derby was on, and you got reorder points based on 200 BV reorders. You receive 5 points. So at that point, 200 BV was a golden ticket, really. If you could get enough people encouraged to order 200 BV, then the people that are in Derby are also going to benefit from that. Not that everyone is, but that was kind of like, we can utilize this at the same time. We're going to do a blitz in a couple of weeks ourselves, and we're actually making it 150 BV so we can really promote the 10% discount that people receive. So product users really have it in their face and are reminded and educated that they do get 10% off if they order 150 BV of just random products anyway. So that's going to be our next
so that's
target.
How they get a ticket into it. The product users get a ticket into the draw by ordering 150 BV in that week. Spot
on. Now, if they order, and then what we did at that point was in the past one when we went 8-star, it was 200 BV, one ticket in, and then it was every 100 BV after they got another ticket. So this blitz will probably be looking at 150 BV, and then every 50 BV after that, you'll get another entry. So what we're doing now, just to fill you guys in, is so we're actually trading. A whole bunch of us have passion fruit shake. Don't know if anyone's seen that I put a post out there that just went viral in Isogenics Business, and we're trading over. So we've now got mocha, pina colada, whatever, all these crazy old shakes in America. So we're about to now do blitzes for the product users where they can win the ultimate seasonal shake pack that's got 9 different seasonal shakes. So we're kind of just changing it up a little bit. Yeah. So what we do around that is we have a blitz for the builders, which is totally isolated to that. We still blitz around there. We have some, great prizes or tickets to events and stuff like that. But we really encourage the blitz around the product users. Now, generally what happens, I'm just going to have to get a computer open here too, guys. Just
yeah, no worries.
So I don't run out of my charge on my phone. So basically what we usually find happens is that the average order basket is like 125 BV or whatever it happens to be. So we looked at that and said the 200 BV, obviously with that high ticket item of the trip to Las Vegas, we weren't going to just let people basically just move their auto ship and get in. It was like, you know what? People can move their auto ship or they place their order or whatever else. But people that were already ordering that week, if they were ordering 120 BV, they were going to increase it to 200. So we're actually increasing the order basket. So they were trying new products. We promoted leading into that week, and during that week, we promoted a whole bunch of the different random products that people don't normally buy, stuff like that as well. So there was a real strategy around all of that, but it was around the product users, and it was fantastic. The amount of people that we had ordering that had no interest, and yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah. And then, of course, at the same time, we were just seeding the business to them. If people were interested in the business, then we're seeding it at the same time as well.
Yeah, amazing. Love it, love it, love it. I've taken bulk notes. And so how did you... So that is a really easy way to engage product users, which, like you say, that's the 85%. Like that's where the volume is at. How did you have any ways of engaging product sharers, the people that might have signed up? Like, did you create a lot of consultants in that week and that sort of thing? Like, was there much excitement? Yeah, we did, because the other thing that we found was there was a lot of people out there because it was so pumped, there was a lot of people that reordered that hadn't reordered for a month or two. And so that was also helping people go back to consultant or, go back to manager or go back to director or these kind of things as well in the same time. So what we also done at the same time in that one, and what we're doing this time is going to be a cash prize for us. So we're looking at cash rather than anything else, along with some kickoff tickets. At that time, we did a couple of things. We did, shivers, I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure we did one trip to Las Vegas for the business builders only. And then we had like training calls. So we had some training calls. We organized some with some other top leaders. We had an exclusive one if they hit a certain level with David Wood. So we had a few things like that we also organized that drove those builders. Probably more than anything was the fact that, 5-cycle bonuses, 1-star bonuses. We educated people in the week leading up as to how they could do that as well. So people had that fresh on where they were going, what their goals were.
It wasn't just like hey, we hit the blitz. Oh my God, end of the blitz. You're close to 1 star. Let's go. It was like they knew before the week started what the possibility was. And some people had actually far exceeded that. They hit that on Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever it happened to be. So yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Beautiful. There's a lot there. That's awesome. Yeah.
But I'm also, the other thing I will say as well is I'm big on keeping it really simple on the business builder blitzes, because to me, the people that are all in are going to blitz anyway. They're blitzing because it's a blitz week. It's irrelevant of what the prize is. They're just doing it because of their team. They want their team buying in. Don't complicate it. Like, that's my biggest advice is, so for us, it's like 1 point for an enrollment, 30-day pack and above, or premier pack and above, depending on what you want. We were really pushing at that point the ultimate pack. So we were like 1 point for a 30-day pack or a premier pack, 2 points for an ultimate pack, 1 point for a rank advancement, and 1 point if you order 200 BV. And that's it. Simple as that. One entry for every single time, and then random draw as to who wins it. So, and then we had some fun with it. We had a big Vegas night here, and we drew out the winners that won the trip to Las Vegas, all the rest of it. It so happens to be that one of them is a product sharer who has gone on from winning. The one that won the product one was a product sharer who is now so excited about the business. They then turned up to an event and they're like pumped about actually going to celebration. So it's kind of really, really worked in our favor in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. Love it. Awesome. Thanks, Alan. Going on from that, does anybody have any questions around that before we move on? Just give anybody a chance to quickly type. All good? Oh, yeah. Go, Mandy. Oh, you good? Okay. Cool. So we'll move on. So the next question I wanted to touch on was just around consultant creation. So, and I guess everybody's got your top 3 things for creating consultants, because you've obviously, how many execs have you guys created?
We've got 10 personal execs. Yeah.
Yeah. So 10 personal execs. So you obviously know how to create consultants yourself, and you've shown people how to do the same. So what would the 3 most important things be for you in terms of consultant creation?
Number one, I think number one's a no-brainer, is that you have to get everyone to an event. To me, that's, and because like when we think creating consultants, we think more than just creating. We're always thinking every single consultant is a potential to be a business builder. Every single consultant is potential to be in this business forever. That's the kind of mentality that we have. So we don't discriminate on who we invite to the events. We invite product users. We invite people that are looking at potentially joining. It's like we literally just do whatever we can to get people to events. So promoting the heck out of them. I'll give you a great example. And to me, I think it's worth the benefit. I'm not saying everyone has to do this. It was progressive for us. We invest into people coming to their first major event. Doesn't matter who they are. Now, that's now spread to our other leaders that have the financial capability to do that. However, if there's somebody that is product sharing, interested in coming to an event that a leader can't afford to, Larry and I will gift a ticket to them in a heartbeat. We just think that's the greatest investment into your business. And I think the biggest thing that happens is that where people go wrong is, sorry, even my computer ran out. I was really organised for this one.
Pulling out all the stuff.
Yeah. I got to charge it now. So one of the biggest things that we find is that, let's say for an example, you pay for a ticket for somebody to come to an event, and they turn up to the event. 3 weeks later, they're no longer in your business. And it's so demoralizing when that happens. But man, I don't want to waste and this mentality starts becoming, I don't want to waste another $150 on that person, or I don't want to waste another $200 on somebody else that turns up, because there's such a mindset of, it's kind of like a scarcity mindset. Larry and I are like, you know what? If we invited 20 people and we spent $200 on a ticket to University in Action for 20 people, and they all turn up to University in Action and we spent $4,000, if two of those, even one of those, genuinely get it, that investment is such a good investment. Rather than focusing on the 15, 18, 19 people that don't do anything or they're only product users or whatever else, it's actually about the numbers of, because the amount of people that are going to impact your business is so minimal in comparison. Now, I'm not saying that everyone's not important in your business, but what I'm saying is to take it to that whole new level of income, it's only going to be a small handful of people that are going to take you to that multiple six-figure plus income. They're the people that we're looking for. They're the people that we're investing into, but we don't know who they are. Until they go to the event, you just don't know who they are. So the biggest thing that we always do is promote the heck out of events to get every single person there. We're happy to pay for tickets for people to go to their first event. And then whether we help them out again will really be dictated by what they've done off that event or what their commitment level is. So it's not like the same people to go over and over again. They've done something or we see some kind of reason around it. And once they've been to one event, really, if they're not at least getting it to the point to turn up to the next event, then there's not much you can do. So that would be my number one. Number two is I'm massive on every single person at least needs to know from day one that they can earn income with Isogenics. Whether that be, and that doesn't have to be like a full compensation plan. That just means that you're letting everybody know when they're a product user. And even in simple, like to those that get scared, it may be as simple as somebody starting and just saying, oh, hey, Tully, look, I just wanted to let you know if it's not for you, that's totally okay because you're just letting your own fear out at the start. If it's not for you, that's totally okay. I just wanted to let you know when you're having great results on Isogenics and people are asking or you decide you want to share, you can earn some income from Isogenics that could help you pay for your products. Can be more for that if you so choose. But I just want to let you know that so you don't miss out on the opportunity if you so decide to share this amazing system with anybody else. It could be as simple as that. And then pretty much what we do from that point on, so it's not like you're throwing it down their throat. If they're like, oh, that sounds really cool, then you can send them the U+2, you share, they share, or you can share a little bit more with them. And if they're like, oh, no, I just want to do the products, then that's cool. You just backburn it. When they're having great results, just gently bring it up again. So that's probably number two, is that we do find that majority of people, not majority of people, shouldn't say majority of people, there's a large number of people that are waiting until they have great results before they tell them about the income. And it's like, I'm not going to tell them about it because I'm scared that they're not going to join, or I'm scared that it's going to impact their experience. And it's like, no. You'll be shocked at how many people actually turn around and say, oh, that's awesome, can't wait. And sometimes they even go harder at the products because they know that there's an opportunity to earn income, even if they're not open about it. So that would be number two. And the third thing that I would say is the biggest focus for us outside of those two things, like which are they're more, I suppose, skill-based and just making sure you do it, is that 30 days for us is all about building the relationship. So my goal, and Larry's exactly the same in the 30 days, is not to, let's say for an example, Tully, you want to lose 10 kgs. My goal is not to keep on your back about that 10 kgs. My goal is to find out what's going on in the world of Tully. What sports do you love? What are you passionate about? What do you want to do in life? Where do you love to go holiday? All of these little things that can just trigger me to then get you to that event, or to ensure that you do reorder because I know more about you. The more I know about you, the more ammunition I actually have to ensure that I can, to me, it's actually my responsibility to know that about you so that I can ensure that you actually have the best success in every aspect. So that would be the third thing that I would say.
Awesome. I love it. And then one thing on the event, because obviously that was the number one and it even came up again with number three. Do you train or speak about the gradient of events much with your team? Like, or you're just like, whatever the next event is, whether they're day 3 and it's a big ticket event, it doesn't matter. Just whatever the next event is, they're getting to it.
100%. Yeah. I'm actually, I think the gradient of events is great to know, just to know that that's the events you have. Somebody asked me this recently. It was a question. I can't remember who it was. I wish I could remember. They asked me the question very recently. They said, oh, Al, look, I want to invest in somebody to come to an event, but I'm really torn.
I think they were based in Sydney. I'm just trying to, I can't even remember the full situation. But anyway, the point being, they said, like, UIA is so impactful that I'm like kind of thinking that I'll wait and get them to UIA. And they're like, what do you think? Like, that's probably better than getting them to SKO, right? And I was like, why would you have such short-term, like such shallow thinking? Why would you not get them to SKO and then they see the vision and they get themselves to UIA? What if they're not in the business when it comes to UIA? Like, to me, I'm like, you build to the next event. You invite to the next event.
Everything all good?
I'm not sure if I'm not sure if Larry was angry at me.
You didn't agree with that point?
But I'm going to leave this live going. So if anything happens,
yeah, we've
I
got
hope it's recorded.
What's your address?
So I'm massive on that. Like, even within our team right now, yes, of course, we're continually ensuring that people know that UIA is on in November. However, the big goal is driving everybody to SKO. That's our big goal. And it doesn't mean that they're all going to come, but it means that we're promoting it. We're inviting. We're not just going, you know what, UIA, David Wood, he's the master. Let's get him there, and then they'll start building. It's like, you just don't know. And what about if you don't get them to SKO and then they don't bring 4 people to UAA? Like, that's the potential, is you get them there and then they're bringing people to UAA. And that's the power. So while I'm all for the Great IMA events to understand what opportunities Isogenics offer, to me, it's just the next event. That's the only focus.
Urgency trumps the gradient.
Massive. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And we've had a question from the lovies about setting up business builders. So how do you set up business builders? What system do you use? So if somebody comes to you, they've done the 30 days and they're like, all right, I'm in, let's go.
Yep. So we played around. That's a great question. We played around with this a lot.
Yeah.
And we've struggled. In all honesty, as I don't know whether to some people it may be successful that we've created 10 personally enrolled execs and all the rest of it. In our own kind of hearts, we've never really felt like we've had the right system until probably the last 3 months. And one of the things that Larry and I really looked at was what's the missing for people. And we started realizing that people were they weren't really sharing what they were really doing. So what we decided to do was, after University in Action, the most recent one, we set up a group, which was called, for us, we called it Steps to Success. And part of that group was 2 points of accountability. And this is where we're going now with, it's like absolutely everybody that comes into our business, that wants our business, becomes part of this program. And what the program does is it's 8 weeks of skills. And I'm talking fundamentals, master list, connecting, following up, 3-way calls, launch parties. Like, I'm talking the 8 most basic income producing activities that you have. However, there's 2 other aspects to it which we think have been game changers. The first one, within that group, you must share 3 either conversations you want feedback on that have gone on, or conversations you want suggestions for how you're going to reply to people in. So people are literally in this group sharing screenshots of their live conversations. Larry and I, other people are jumping on, commenting. And what we're finding is, as powerful as getting the feedback is, it's giving the feedback that is growing the leaders. That they're actually offering feedback and teaching and learning within the one. Because it's one thing to be a learner, but when you start teaching, you learn so much quicker and you become a better learner. So that's been a game changer for us. And then at the end of the week, to stay in that group, non-negotiably, they must do a 2-minute, no more, just a 2-minute video talking about their week on that skill. What have they learned? How have they done it? Around the conversations. And within that week, we have 2 podcasts that Larry and I recommend on that skill. And they have to listen to that in net time. So no extra time. So they listen to it in the car. They listen to it while they're having messages on conversations, while they're cooking dinner. They've got to find the net time, the no extra time, to listen to those podcasts. And if they get that done early in the week, they've got to just listen to them again. And that's, to us, I genuinely believe 3.5 years in, we have the best group of emerging leaders and the foundations that they have that we've had, full stop.
Yeah, amazing. And so with that group, do you have a weekly training call or is no?
No, because what we don't want, we want them involved in the sharing of the conversations, in the listening to those 2 podcasts. Because like you can get, to me, it's like sometimes it can sidetrack you. So we have our collaborative. We've got a collaborative Sunday night call with Jen Schultz, Jackson, Larry, and I, Andrew and Angie, Logan, who we just rotate doing the call.
Mm-hmm.
However, to me, I'm like, sometimes you can just get too much. Like we've found, as an example, Larry and I have created in the past what I think is a great training on master lists. So it's like we don't want to have these people going on all these different calls when they could just listen to our podcast 2 or 3 times. Jackson Parr's got a phenomenal cake recipe one. You've got people out there that have done great training calls on specific skills. It's like, just utilize them, listen to them 2 or 3 times rather than getting sidetracked in other stuff.
Just
so
roll through those 8 weeks and then start again. And then start again and just repeat.
And what happens is if somebody new comes into the business, generally they're not going to be as fast. So what we'll do is we'll actually get them starting on without adding them to the group, because we don't throw the dynamics of the group out, especially because they're sharing all these. By week 1 and 2, people are so hesitant replying to the conversations. It's like Larry and I late at night responding to 30 conversations, which is cool. But by right now, we're literally at the end of one of our groups. Like this is the end of our second group, and it's like it just same as the first group. It's like they're taking care of themselves. Like people are responding, and we're like, they're just nailing it. So they're all working in synergistically, and we don't even have to. We still respond, of course, if we see something out or anything like that, and we want to keep building their confidence. But it just takes care of itself. So a new person, we don't throw them into the group, but what we do is we drip feed them at their pace, and then as soon as the new group launches, we open it back up. Those that want to come in, go in. This next group, we're actually now reached the point where it's about to filter off to a few of our leaders. So Crystal has just launched her own 8-week boot camp, which is pretty much based along very, very similar things to what we've done. So now the point is to getting all the other leaders just duplicating it, because obviously it's getting to a point where there's just so many people that are wanting to be part of the group that we don't want people to get drowned out and conversations to get totally lost as well.
Yeah, love it. So
how many people in the
how many people would be in each
group? So now that we're splintering off, the smaller groups will be a little bit smaller. However, our group, this most recent one, we started with 73, and we're now sitting at 48. However, the coolest part about this is since week 4, we've been at 48. So we haven't lost anybody out of that group, and what we judge it on is the video. So if they don't actually post a video, then we take them out of the group. Every single person that reached like 4 weeks in and was committed to that point has stayed committed in there. They're all coming to SKO. Part of that group, when you first start, is that you have to buy your ticket to the next major event. End of story. So they're just little things like that that just ensure that it's serious people. So I would not do a group more than that. I think 48 really stretches it, especially it's kind of fortunate because we've got Catch, we've got Nicole Robertson, we've got a couple other key leaders that are not in the 48, but they are helping within those guys. So we've been fortunate in that way. If it was just Larry and I probably wouldn't go more than probably 20, 25. So hence why we're now filtering them off.
Yeah. Awesome. Love it. Thank you. That was amazing. And a question that I asked when we had the Real and Raw call and had you and Larry on, and I asked you, and I loved your answer. You might not even remember your answer, but so I'll prompt if you come up with a different answer this time. But I asked you what you're most excited about in Isogenics right now.
Oh man, what am I most excited about? There's probably a few things.
That
There's-
was weeks ago, so you might have a new thing. I'll get you to share the other thing as well. But yeah, what's right now?
what am I most excited about? Look, I'll give you a few things, and if I don't touch on it, you can do it. The first one is, to me, like I genuinely believe, like obviously the countries that we're in, I don't think Australia's hit the surface. I love network marketing companies and I love compensation plans. And what I really look at with a company is the domestic market. And to me, people are excited about the UK and the potential of it, and the potential of course, it started strong. You know, I believe it'll go on strong, or the potential of Asia when that really takes off. To me, I'm pumped that the United States of America, that North America is in momentum, and it's in year 16 or whatever we are. To me, I'm like, generally countries that are released will mirror the domestic market, and most network marketing companies launch into 40, 50 countries because their domestic market is sucking it up and not doing well, and internationally way takes over the domestic market. So to me, I'm most excited about the fact that in year 16 or whatever year it is, I get lost with it, they're in the biggest momentum, or I feel like they're popping platinums and millionaires and people that are rank advancing like I've never seen in the 3.5 years I've been in Isogenics. And even when you talk to the Americans, they'll tell you that, yeah, it's going faster than they've ever seen. So to me, that's what I'm most excited about. And people look at it and go, oh, you know, is Australia going to get that kind of momentum again and all this kind of stuff? And I'm like, hell yeah, it will. I don't think we've even released our highest selling product yet. Like some of the stuff that they're going to produce out of Arizona, I'm like, they'll release new products that'll just be mind-blowing. That, can you imagine if they release the number one selling product that's not even out on the market yet? And the chances are that hasn't even been released yet in 16 years. And all of your team are then taking it and using it and loving it. It's like, it's crazy. So yeah, of course the international markets are awesome. Don't get me wrong. All the countries we've still got to open all the rest of it. But the fact that we're opening them so like methodically because America is just booming. If that doesn't get you excited, if you don't want to stay up to midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, sending messages, you know, learning, whatever, then I don't know. Check the pulse.
Yeah.
Don't check your isopulse; it won't be working. Check your real pulse. No.
Yeah, and that was exactly what you shared in the
Oh,
call.
good.
So you got it right. You got the question right. Yeah, I'd never thought about it like that. And when you spoke to that, I was like, whoa, it says so much. It says longevity. It says, you know, in another 5 years, 6 years, that's when Australia will probably hit its biggest momentum, because that's what's happened.
It mirrors. Absolutely. You look at vast majority, if it's not exact, it's at least close. So if you wanted to say to me, when's our next momentum? I'm going to tell you it's probably in another 3 or 4 years is our next massive momentum. And of course, we're going to keep that nice steady growth.
Yeah.
But those that are in that nice steady growth, it's like there'll be people that are just earning incomes that they couldn't have even believed that they'd ever earn, even remotely. So yeah, that's my genuine deep down beliefs. I'm building this. We're building it once, and that's it. You build it once, build it properly, done.
Happy days. Love it. I'm just going to quickly go through and see if there's any other questions. Oh yeah, good from the Lovey. Super Saturday Melbourne. Early bird finishes tonight. You're speaking at that, aren't you, Alan?
Okay, yeah. I'm really excited about that, actually. I don't know. For some reason, I haven't worked it out yet. I keep getting invited down there in winter, and I keep saying yes. I don't know why. It seems like around that July, August mark, I keep accepting invites to Melbourne. I don't know why. Haven't worked it out. About once a year, I end up down there. So if you've got people in Melbourne, I'm sharing. The first thing that I'm sharing on down there is all around that triangle. So I'm talking about that triangle and going really deep into how you can ensure that your business is set up in the right way and how you can actually do health checks on your business or other people's businesses to see where the missing gaps are. And then after that, I'm talking about growing people, growing yourself at the same time, to create leaders and stuff like that in my second hour.
Yeah, love it. So if you're in Melbourne or if you know people in Melbourne, get them down to that Super Saturday. A few thumbs up from the crew. Another question, and you kind of touched on this before, but just clarification. So with those 8 weeks, you'll set up an 8-week group. Then at the end of 8 weeks, does that group close and everybody gets removed and a new one gets made?
Spot on. Yep.
And
yep, 100%. And the same people just repeat.
Yeah.
And it's awesome too, because you've got the same people that are repeating that already, and they do pretty much the same activities. They just do them at a different level, or whatever it happens to be. But it's even better because it's kind of like they merge through as mentors themselves.
Yeah, I love it.
But being mentored within it. I suppose it's kind of emerged that Larry and I, as many people know, we spent close to 10 years in Japan. And it's kind of the way that they work in Japan. It's like if you've done something before, then they have a word called senpai, which basically means my senior, the person that's gone before me. Am I explaining that right, La? Yeah. So that's kind of the philosophy around here as well, is that these people are being empowered. It's like, I've done this, I can help other people because I know what to expect, but at the same time, I'm still in action. And that's what we want as well. We don't want people going in management mode. Larry and I, we while we're obviously working on a lot of those people businesses, that week, that's our focus as well. So whatever that week's skill is, that's our focus as well. So it's kind of like we're in the trenches with them. We're doing it. Yes, it's kind of emerged to a degree where we're doing a lot of training and development, but there's no way in the world we're going to stop doing the fundamentals. Coming from a basketball coaching background, it's like Michael Jordan walks into training, obviously he's retired now, but you know what I mean? Like Michael Jordan or LeBron James walks into training, I'll guarantee you the thing he's doing more in that training is shooting jump shots, shooting free throws, dribbling the ball. He doesn't spend those 2 hours just dunking and trying to shoot from halfway and doing stupid shit that just doesn't help his game. He's doing all the basics. So it's like our philosophy is exactly the same for builders. 3.5 years in, 10 years in, 2 weeks in, it doesn't matter. Fundamentals are where it's all at.
Yeah, love it, love it, love it. And the only other question we've got here is Lockie asking if we can keep you.
Larry just gave me away. Like she's thrown plates at me before. She's like, take him.
Yeah. I didn't know you guys were Greek. So if you get hugged by a big, fit personal trainer, that'll be Lockie trying to get in the back of a van.
Love it, love it.
Yeah, so that's awesome. I don't think we've got any more. Oh, and the Lovies are emceeing Super Saturday. So it is
sweet.
Started lineup.
Awesome, awesome. Can't wait to see you guys. Where are you on the screen? I can't see everyone on the screen, but
the Lovies. Oh, Rich Quadrants. Yeah. And there'll be a bit of fire post-celebration there too. So that's definitely an event you want to get people to. But I think on that note, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks so much for your time, Alan. And I'm sure I'll speak for everyone, got a lot of actionable stuff out of that. So yeah, I know how busy you are. I know how much you guys are doing the fundamentals day in, day out. So to take an hour is, really much appreciated. Yeah,
seriously, you're more than welcome. Like I said, to me, like it's not to jump on one of these calls. It's more about the fact that you know what, and this is obviously for all of you guys who are on this call as well, and it's not blowing wind or anything like that for you, Tully. But mate, I was blown away that you were willing, like you were one of the first people to purchase a ticket, to commit. That event came out and you're like, I've got to be there. I'm flying over there. I'm doing a VIP. It's like, man, when there's people out there in Isogenics that are that committed and wanting to grow and to learn and to ask the questions and reach out, I'd never say no, man. I'd never, ever, I want to help. You're the exact person that we want to help. Doesn't matter what team they're in. So absolute pleasure to be asked to be on the call and always happy to help out. Awesome. Thank you. Well, everybody can unmute and give Alan a bit of love, and then we'll wrap it up.
Thanks, Alan.
Thanks, Al. You guys are so more than welcome.
Thanks, Alan.